You're live. All right, everybody. I want to talk to everybody about last night's fight against Tyson and Paul. Just woke up. Here it is. Slogan of the day: be nice or buzz off. Now, last night's fight was between Tyson and Paul. Man, that was kind of disappointing. I don't blame anybody but myself for watching what happened last night. I'm really glad that it wasn't a paid per view because I got totally sucked in. It's my fault. They did a really good job selling the event. Somebody who has grown up with Mike in his prime and then experiencing who I saw last night was really hard to watch. I got sucked into, thinking that someone who's 58 years old could have one last fight in them. And last night, watching Father Time with Mike Tyson was really, really hard. It was sad. I don't know what motivates the opportunity because I remember earlier back into the campaign, there was somebody, Mike said he would never fight Jake Paul. It wasn't a legitimate fighter and, wouldn't do that kind of stuff. But as you can see, Time and taunting, the problem child, the disruptor, basically goading Tyson and the amount of money they got paid, so I think I heard $20 million for 16 minutes of work for Mike, 40 million for Jake Paul, from what I understand. But hey, correct me if I'm wrong. So, I mean, that kind of stuff's hard to ignore. I watched the Tyson clips. I have to say the Tyson clips during training camp seemed a lot faster. So I thought he would be I thought he would be slightly more agile in the ring. When he got into the ring last night, I realized that, we all got played. And I wrote a fantasy. And for some reason, I never paid attention to the most realistic signals, which was guy's 58. And I was stuck. I was stuck back, back when he was 20 years old, when I was watching him come up the first time. And I just thought, he still has the power and he's still Iron Mike Tyson and he's still the baddest man on the planet. But I realized watching last night that things have really changed. And I felt bad for him and also super proud at the same time. Because here's a guy under all of that scrutiny, pressure, experience, gets in the ring. There's 80,000 people screaming. I can't imagine, what that must feel like. So as much as it hurt me or as much as it made me sad to watch how Tyson was last night compared to what I used to know when he was coming through his prime the first time and I got to watch it, I still got to give the guy respect, like tons of respect for training and showing up. I have to, up until the fight, when I saw, the day before, we see the stomp, the slap, Jake's personal now and he's got to die. I'm like, oh man. And at that point, I still believed that Tyson, could take care of business. And then the fight comes on. And I'm really happy to say that I'm glad that, Jake didn't put his foot on the gas and that he didn't actually hurt him and, knock him down or knock him out. I think at some point through that transition, I think Jake realizes that he has so much love and respect for the guy, and that it would be a lot easier to go 8 rounds and just basically like spar with him. Basically, it was just like a little, circling him, coming in a bit. You know, Tyson's trying to do something. Tyson's legs weren't there. His ability to move wasn't there. I mean, I'm, it was just a part of me wishes I hadn't seen it. Let's put it that way. I wanted to believe that first version in my mind could somehow show up last night, and it's just not realistic. And so, I did it to myself. Now, the most exciting part of the whole night was the Taylor versus Serrano. Let's focus on that for a second. I was cheering for Taylor because my kid's a boxer and she's cheering for Taylor, and I love my kid, so I'm really supporting my kid. And I didn't really care who won or lost, but I was supporting Taylor. And I think that she should have lost by decision. I think if you look at the gash on Serrano's right eyebrow, halfway through the fight, I'm really surprised that the medical side of the sport didn't bring the match to a screeching halt. The gash was so big that the skin was sagging over her eye socket. It was just brutal. And, I love gore, don't get me wrong. And I love that gladiator, warrior, underdog. You're in a corner and you scrap your way out of it. And she does not let that gash, uh, bring the fight to an end, because apparently after 4 rounds, it's now a legal fight, and, Katie would win based on the injury. And so I'm really surprised that the boxing world let it go forward. And, and she's tough. They're both tough, but she's tough because, you're now going the rest of the fight with Katie targeting the gash, and I'm sure every punch hurt. And so, you've got just sheer grit. She rocks Katie Taylor twice. She shows her toughness and refuses to hide behind the gash and fights on. CompuBox stats show that she outperformed or outthrew Katie Taylor, and she still loses. So a little disappointed about that. Amanda Serrano should have won last night's fight. Katie leads with her head a lot. I agree with all of the ranting or the beefs that the Serrano corner had in regards to what Taylor, her style of coming forward and like leading with her head. Very exciting. I was off the couch and I was bobbing and weaving, and I was right into the intensity, the exchange speed, the guts, the toughness, the gash. I was into everything. And then she didn't. And then I thought that Serrano should have won. And when she didn't, I was like, man, she was robbed. Anyways, that's pretty well what I have to say about last night. If you watch this video and you want to make a comment or leave one about what you think about Tyson and Paul, or Taylor versus Serrano, lay it down. I'm still in shock. It's Saturday morning and I'm still trying to digest what happened. And he says he might do it again. I don't know if it's just money now or if he's trying to, I don't know what's going on. But after last night, he definitely shouldn't go. Well, if anybody watches the next one, if he even has a chance, I don't see how it's going to go. What I am hearing is that there's some chirps about Paul now kind of taunting Canelo. I didn't know. I mean, I don't know what stage of career Canelo's in, but uh, I know he's a tough fighter. So I have a little more respect for Jake Paul. You know, he's a drama junkie. I really thought he was gonna try to hurt Mike last night, and so he did respect the guy, and he didn't hurt him, and they went. He basically said, "Hey, I've got an opportunity to spar with one of the baddest guys in boxing for 8 rounds. Why would I want to be a super villain and hurt him and knock him out or embarrass him basically when I could kind of basically practice with the guy for 8 rounds, give the crowd something because if you knocked him out in the second round, if he put his foot on the gas and knocked him out and hurt him, I don't know how many people would really dig that. I think he would, not that he cares, but I think he would pick up a bunch of people that wouldn't like him over it. So I think he did the right thing. He didn't hurt the guy because you're 58. Who knows what a really heavy shot to the head, even if you're Mike Tyson, could do to a guy who's 58. You don't want to see the guy get hurt. Lots of respect for Mike Tyson. Felt bad for him. I'll hang on to the memories of my first time around with him when he was coming up in his prime. And I'll try to, kind of get on with it, and I'll read some articles and, move on with life but hey, I really did enjoy the Taylor Serrano fight. So what do you think? All right. Saturday morning up here in Canada. The weather doesn't look that great. I've said hi. Hopefully you're having a nice weekend, and we'll talk to you again. All right, bye.